To say that the DC Extended Universe has struggled to gain its footing and really come into its own is to put it very kindly. Despite being a massive fan of DC Comics, my relationship with the DCEU has been less like the love between Superman and Lois Lane, and more like the abusive relationship between Joker and Harley Quinn. But this gives me hope, and excitement, and giddiness. I just can't stop watching this trailer. And while we've witnessed great trailers that ended as less than great final products in the DCEU in the past, I truly believe that Birds of Prey will be a hit, and that it will be exactly the breath of fresh air that the DCEU and the superhero genre as a whole desperately needs. Let's start with the part of the trailer that's given the most attention: Harley Quinn. Harley's whimsicality has definitely been captured here, but what I really appreciate is that her comedic and more over-the-top traits don't overshadow the rest of her character. It seems like Birds of Prey wants to dig deep into her psychology and explore who Harley Quinn the human being is, not who Harley Quinn the cheap gimmick who sells toys and Halloween costumes is. The trailer begins on a serious note, with Harley monologuing about how she feels unappreciated and used. I really respect this choice, as I think it sets the right tone for the overall film. This trailer could have been cut to prioritize comedy over drama, and while that could have worked fine, opening the trailer with a character moment like this one gives me faith in where the film's priorities lie. I think that decision, perhaps more than anything else in the trailer, really gives me hope that Birds of Prey is, at its core, interested in exploring the traumas, struggles, and complexities of its cast. If there's any grievance I have to air against the larger DCEU, it's that its protagonists rarely feel fully formed or consistently written. With the exception of Wonder Woman and Shazam, I'd argue that the vast majority of the heroes in the DCEU are severely underdeveloped. But if this trailer is any indication of what the rest of the film will be like, I think Birds of Prey could shirk this issue entirely. We haven't seen much of the supporting cast yet, as Harley has been the focus of pretty much all of the film's promotional material, so I don't really have a ton to say about characters like Black Canary, Black Mask, or Huntress just yet. Those characters aren't really recognizable to a mainstream audience, so it makes sense why the marketing has been all about Harley so far. But I do hope that the other Birds of Prey get enough attention devoted to them in the actual film. Let's get back to Harley for a moment though. While I enjoyed Margot Robbie's performance in Suicide Squad, she just didn't have much room to shine between the awful script and the confusing sprawl of editing choices in that film. I think it's fairly clear that we're getting a different version of Harley Quinn in this movie, or at the very least a more fleshed out version. The Harley that we see in the trailer actually reminds me most of my favorite interpretation of Harley across any medium. And that is Harley Quinn from the Injustice universe. Both that iteration of the character and this one in Birds of Prey are dripping with flair and that carefree, fun-loving attitude that Harley is known for. But it's the human being underneath that abundance of style that holds the true appeal of the character. It also helps that in Birds of Prey, Harley will be largely removed from, although clearly still affected by, her abusive relationship with the Joker, which is one of the aspects of Harley's characterization in Injustice that really allowed her to come into her own. Regardless of the similarities between Injustice Harley and Birds of Prey Harley, the balance of Harley's humor and drama here definitely gets me excited for this new take on the character. Now if there's one dumb, nitpicky gripe that I have with this trailer and with this movie, it's the way it portrays Cassandra Cain. I'm not claiming to be the biggest fan of that character out there, but I really adore what DC Rebirth did with Cassandra in Detective Comics. Unfortunately for my inner fanboy, it doesn't look like we'll be getting the darker, traumatized, and nearly mute version of Cassandra that we first meet in that run. Rather, in this trailer, Cassandra comes off more like a normal teenager than anything else, but we've still seen very little of the character. Even if I'm upset that I won't get my idealized version of Cassandra Cain on screen, I will always support changes to the source material if it improves upon the storytelling of the adaptation. Likewise, I'll always respect the decision to drastically change a character's personality or backstory if it better serves the narrative that the filmmakers are trying to construct. Either way, we haven't seen nearly enough of this character yet to properly judge her, so this nitpick might end up being pretty pointless by the time the movie releases in February. Now, I'm just gonna list a few small things I really liked about the trailer. The detail of Black Canary singing causing the liquid in this glass to vibrate. This shot. The way Margot Robbie says Mr. J. This shot. The way Harley's voice trembles when she talks about what it means to be a Harlequin. The fact that Harley Quinn is roller skating while clinging to the back of this car. I'm honestly surprised by how optimistic I am about Birds of Prey and the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn, but I felt too strongly about this trailer to not make a video about it. Maybe I'm 100% wrong and this movie will be hacked to pieces by the studio like Suicide Squad and Justice League, or maybe it will simply fail to rise above mediocrity like Aquaman. But Birds of Prey doesn't look like a studio-mandated movie to me, and it doesn't look like it's playing it safe. Even if this movie does fail in some ways, I'm glad that it's trying to be different. The superhero genre is often described as oversaturated or samey, and not without good reason. But I honestly believe that Birds of Prey could break the mold and tell a remarkable, unique, and enthralling story that will breathe new life into these characters and into superhero films in general. And if Birds of Prey is any indication of the future of the DCEU, well, count me in. Thanks for watching, guys. I didn't expect to make a video about how I'm excited about the future of the DCEU. Even saying that out loud just sounds so strange. But I really wanted to share my thoughts on this fantabulous trailer. If you enjoyed the video, shares and likes are greatly appreciated. And make sure to follow me on Twitter and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any new Critical Rants content. Next time we'll be talking about my ideal pitch for a Superman movie, or maybe a review of Joker, so stay tuned for the next few weeks for videos like that. I'll see you guys soon.
I'm so f***ing over.
Bad DC movies.